Hello everyone and welcome to the video lecture series of mobile application development. In our previous session we talked about the layouts, the linear layout and the relative layout. Now in this session we are going to see that how the constraint layout works. See students, after the Android Studio version like 3.2 or 4.2, the constraint layout is a by default layout in our programs. Fine. So let's begin to understand that what do we mean by the constraint layout. And hi everyone, this is your instructor Janice Shah. See, the constraint layout is similar to relative layout. Constraint, that means sometimes of rules that we need to define while putting the view component inside our whole activity screen. Just imagine a situation that if I want to put a button inside my screen of activity screen, then at the time I need to specify the position of this button according to the constraints. That means that I need to specify the constraint from top, from bottom, to left, to right, or with respect to the another view component or with the guidelines. Okay, so constraint layout is nothing but it's a view group, obviously same as the linear relative layout, which allows you to create the large and the complex layout with a flat view hierarchy. It allows you to position and size the widgets in a very flexible way. It was created to reduce the nesting of the views. Sometimes it might be possible that you have to define relative layout, and inside that you need to define the linear layout, then again relative layout, then again linear layout. So to reduce the nesting of the views, what we are going to do is we are just going to use the constraint layout to improve the performance. The power of the constraint layout is that it can directly use or are directly available from the layout editor's visual tools. So you can build your layout with the constraint layout entirely by just drag and drop functionality. Students, what is happening that we should write the code for the linear layout, we should write the code for the relative layout, but as far as the constraint layout concerned, you can directly put your view components or the widgets from the widget panel to on entire activity screen and just set that constraint and utilize it very well. So what we are going to do in the constraint layout, we mostly focused on the design part. Okay, we just use the design part to just drag and drop the functionalities and the view components instead of focusing on direct code. Okay. So move further to define the control view, students. We need to just specify the position of the view component. You must at least one horizontal or vertical constraint. For any view component, you just need to define the horizontal or vertical constraint in the constraint layout. Then each constraint represents the connection or alignment to the another view component. So what do we mean by the constraint? So constraint is one type of rules, or we can say the alignment of the view components with respect to the view components or the layout of the parent side or the any guidelines are there. Now, each constraint defines the view component along with the either vertical or we can say the horizontal axis. Okay, now let's move further. That when you try to drop the view components inside the layout editor, just imagine the situation, this is my whole screen. Then if I just directly put my view component over there, the by default is position is 0 0, that means top left of the screen. This is my whole screen, not center, not right, it must be a top left of the screen. Now, so check the constraint layout dependency. See students, you need to check whether Android Studio supports the constraint layout or not. If it does not support the constraint layout, then you first need to add the dependency for the constraint layout. Okay, so how to check the constraint layout dependency? You just need to check out the Gradle script hierarchy. Under it, you need to find out the build.gradle file and check the dependency. In the dependency, you need to check like Android X.constraint layout or constraint layout 2.1.0. So this is the version 2.1.0. It might be possible that you have the higher version or the lower version of this, but just make sure the constraint layout like dependency is already there before using constraint layout. Next, the code for the constraint layout. Okay. See students, what is actually happening over here, that first you just need to check out the set the constraint layout. So if I'm just going to drag and drop my text view over here. After that, you can see the anchor point. See, these four these four circled blue color points are known as the anchor points in constraint layout. By using this anchor point, students, you can set the constraint for the particular view component. So you just need to click over here and drag and drop the arrow from the button to the whole screen or parent screen, top, left, left, bottom and right, and then after it will set to the center of the whole screen. If I'm going to take another button view component over here, then I can also match the constraint from the button component to the text view component as well. Okay. So constraint shows respective to the vertical and horizontal constraint. Next, the code for the constraint. Next, we talk about the view. So this is what we have right now. So I'm not focusing on the coding part, I'm focusing on the design part. So if you are doing the designing or using the Android Studio, then make sure just open the design window, not the split, not the code, just open the design window in activity main.xml file. Okay. So this feature is known as a view component. The above that we found like this component, which is the crystal component, that is known as a blue screen. You can open the blue screen from here. So this is the blue screen layout, we can say. Okay, a blueprint layout. Sorry, my mistake. That's a blueprint of the particular layout. You can enable the blueprint layout from here. Under it we have the I button. That I button is used to show the for the views. It shows the margin, constraints and UI and everything. So what you want to show, you can just select over here and it will be reflected on this particular design part screen. Next. So on the right side of the view component, students, you may have found this U that shows that to disable the auto connection of the parent or enable the auto connection to the parent. Okay, so you can see the by default it is already enabled. So to disable that, you just need to click on that U part that shows the auto connection to the parent. So whenever you try to drag and drop the text view in the screen, okay, it might be possible if your this feature is disabled, then it will not auto connect it to the parent. So to connect a view component to the parent or to set the constraint of the view component, you just need to set the constraint by yourself. Okay, you can just enable or disable this feature in the constraint layout. Then students, you may have found this DP. See, by default it's a 0 DP. 0 DP shows the margin from the top, left, bottom and right. So here we have, students, I'm just setting down the by default margin is 10 for each and every view component in under the constraint layout. Fine. Next, you may found such thing which is known as the infer constraint. So whenever try to give the infer constraint, what is happening over here, each and every view component constraint is set automatically with each other as well as the parent layout. You just need to select the all components and just click on the infer constraint. Fine. So this view component, this infer constraint, see, you can see over here the button in the text view is automatically set infer constraint for themselves. Then when we talk about the left edges, so the left edge, so this from the particular view, you can set the left edge is horizontal center. That means the particular view component is centered horizontally. Then because the left edge is the left edge, the particular view component is set to the next view component's left edge. So such like this, you can set the constraint by using this feature. Okay, given over here in the screen. Code for the constraint layout. Next thing we can see the inference. The inference engine creates the constraint among each and every element in the layout. Okay, so what I'm taking over here, I'm just taking line like a checkbox, then a text view, then a button. Okay, so this is my first screen. Then I have added another like text view or radio button or switch and everything else. Then I just need to click on select each and every view and click on the infer icon. So this is like we can say like Taramandal Diwali. This icon is known as infer icon. Okay, so it is used to inference. The engine creates like constraint among each and every element of your constraint layout. So it will just automatically connect each and every element and set the constraint for them. So you release the code for the constraint layout. By default, you may found like Android X.constraint layout.bj.constraint layout. Then you by default the layout width and height is match parent. Okay, the I'm just giving the foreground int color so we can get the background color of that. Then the text view is there and the button is there. Only two things are there. Next, under the button I have also taken one checkboxes. This is activities from main file students. I have three things: text view, button, and the checkbox. And the last we have the switch over here. Okay, so you may found such things like layout underscore constraint bottom to bottom off, layout underscore constraint and to start off, constraint start to start off, or constraint top to top bottom off. So this is what we have, students. We can set the constraint same as the relative layout. Okay, but here we have to specify the as at least vertical and horizontal, at least one vertical, one horizontal constraint for each and every view component. Fine. Next, this is again I have set the constraint for the switch button. So switch button, students, is on the right side. See, on the bottom of the checkbox. Okay, on the start of the parent and the top of the parent. So see, this is my switch component. Okay, where I need to set it then. So top of the parent. Okay, so this is how the looks like the constraint layout. Then we talk about the guidelines. If you try to design something, the any design software you usually use the guidelines. If you remember, like Photoshop and Corel and any other softwares. What they are using, why they are using the guidelines? So guidelines just support them to put the content properly, or we can say align the content properly in the whole screen design. So in constraint layout, students, the developer can easily set the guidelines. So here what I did, I just need to click on this particular I wala button. Okay, so I just need to click on the I button and capital I button, then it shows the vertical guidelines. This vertical guidelines, students, we can take after clicking on the vertical line, it is enabled in the particular design screen. So this arrow and this dotted line, it shows the guidelines. What do you need to do? You just need to drag and drop the guidelines from here to here, and then you just need to set your text layout, button layout, or radio button layout, or checkbox, anything with respect to the particular guidelines. Fine. Next, so this option shows the usage of the two vertical guidelines. So here this we have the vertical guidelines, this other vertical guidelines. If you want to set the horizontal guidelines, just click on the horizontal guidelines and such like this horizontal arrow. You can set the horizontal guidelines as well and the view component according to it. Next, the code of the constraint layout. The next topic is all about the guidelines. This is the usage of the horizontal and vertical both together. That how can we set the checkbox, the normal text view editor, text view, and the button all together inside the constraint layout with respect to the guidelines. Next, the clear constraint, students, when you talk about the clear constraint, if you want to clear each and every constraint, just select all by double click on the particular view. Just select each and every component, and then above that we found like this particular icon that is known as, or that is used to delete each and every constraint from the Android constraint layout. They may ask you to delete the all constraint. If you click on the yes, then see the difference. This zigzag line shows the constraints. There is no zigzag line between each and every element. That's why it does not show any constraint, and the straight line is going on like this. Next, the constraint layout code. So, sir, do we need to change anything in the constraint layout? No, you cannot need to change any constraint layout XML file or main.xml file. But here you may found such a component tree which is very much important in the constraint layout. So this component tree maintains each and every view component's position and the details. So you may have found that how you just added the components, or how you did add the view components inside the constraint layout. This shows like text view, button, checkbox, switch 1, then guidelines 1, 2, and 3, whatever the guidelines we have used during our design part. So now let's check some basic practical of the constraint layout. I again told you then I again want to say something that in this constraint layout we are not going to run the practical. We just going to see the changes in the mobile activity screen. Okay, so let's begin with the practical first. Students, here I have already created one constraint layout file. So this constraint layout file, first you need to check out the build.gradle that the dependency is added or not. So you can see that here the dependency for the constraint layout is already added. This is the dependency. Then inside the view file, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some view components in the constraint layout. So this is my design part. Okay, let me just remove each and everything from here. First, just click on the delete part. Each and everything will be removed. So you can see my code. My code has nothing. Okay, so now just get back onto the design part. First, I'm going to set the text view over here. The drag and drop the text view from here to here. So these 4 points are known as the anchor points, and this arrow, see this arrow is used to increase the size of this particular text view. Okay, let me just keep the text view over here in the center. Okay, and just write down like this is a first view. Okay, and you can set the view ID as well as over here. This is my first view. You can also set the height, width as well as the font size as well. So now after this doing this, you can check the red error over here. You may found the red error. When you go on the mouse over it, you may find the error. So just click on the error, that what is the particular error. So error is this view is not constrained. That means you just drag and drop the view component from the palette to here, but you do not add any constraint to it. Okay, so how to add the constraints? Do not worry, you can just add the constraint by set the anchor point. So just going to the inside the design part. Okay, let me just make it down. So this is my first constraint, top constraint. This is my bottom constraint. If I want to set in the center, then I just need to set the top, left and bottom each and every constraint. So this is my third constraint. Okay, so you can set it over view over here. So what I did, I just need to set the constraint from here to here. So this is the margin. The 88 shows the margin. Okay, nothing else. See, so if you can drag and drop, so this 68 shows the margin. If you want to check out, you can check it over here. The margin from start is to 68. So layout height is set, bottom set, start set, and the top set. So we have already set the constraint for the particular text view. Okay, now let me just take another button over here. So button is here. Let me just put the button over here. This is my button. I just drag and drop to here. Now let me just, when you start to set the constraint, it just goes like this and this. See, I already set my button over here, but I want to set the button on the below of the particular text view. Let me just set the button over here. This is my particular text view and button goes like this. If you want to now set the margin, so you can drag and drop and button will set over here. Okay. Now, what I want to do, students, I just want to take another text view. Let me just text view over here. So this is my text view. Let's keep it some little bit more. So this text view value is like we can say a second view. Okay, so text in the text view is the second view, and then I'm again going to take another button from here to here. So here it is my button, students. Let me just change the content of the button. It's like a second button. Okay, this is my second button, nothing else. Okay, this is my second button. So now what to do, students? Let's see. This is my second button. I did not set the constraint for that, but I have already set the constraint for the second view. No, for the text view and for the button. For both, you need to set the constraint first. So let's set the constraint for both of them. So here students, you may find the second layout. Let me just go down the screen. Let me just minimize it or close the screen. So here, from here, see, this is the top constraint you have already settled, and this is the bottom constraint. You just need to set the constraint like this. So now your top and bottom both constraint has already been set. But what about the margin? Okay, so what about the second view? Let me just set to the top and let me again set to the bottom. So here, what I need to do, students, I just need to set the second view with respect to the particular screen at the center point, and my button goes like this. So I have settled my second view and the second button as well. Now what I want to do, if I put it over here, okay, so this is my second view and button goes like this is my button. If I want to infer each and every components, okay, see, I'm just going to delete the constraint from here. Okay, so let me just delete the constraint. You just click over here, delete it. Then you just need to set it, click over here, delete it. So all the constraints for the second layout deleted. Now you just need to click, select both of them and set the infer. So infer constraints, what happens, it is already connect each and every view components whatever they are there inside the view. So control Z. Okay. So this is my, let me just select each and every four components, 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay. Now just click on the infer and it will automatically set the constraint for each and every components as well. Now see. Okay. Now if I want to set the exact lines from here to here, if you want to check the show all constraints, so you can see the constraints by using click on the view all constraint. Okay. Next, so if you want to say show system UI, then you can check like this. This is my system UI. After clicking on the view system UI, you are able to see the particular constraint layout example. If you want to show the tooltip text, you will also able to see the tooltip text over here. See, let me just close this. So this is my constraint layout example. Next, this is enable the auto connection to the parent. Whenever you try to this enable, so now auto connection to the parent is already enabled. Let me take one switch with the center of the parents. So when I click over here, see the switch is automatically settled his horizontal constraint with the parent. Why? Because the enable parent is already enabled. The auto connection with the parent is already enabled. Now let me just disable it and let me take another widget. Let me take it as an image view in the center part. Okay, okay, it is asking me for the image. Let me take this avatar as well. This is the image view, students, which I have settled. See, there is no constraint is settled for that particular image view. Okay, let me just take it over here. Fine, but when I try to enable this and check the progress bar from here to here, this is the constraint is already automatically settled when we can say it is enabled. Fine. So if you want to set the constraint, then you can also set the constraint from here to here. Let's just set the constraint for the progress bar as well. Okay, fine. Now, what about the guidelines? So when you try to click on the this 10 dp, let me just settle the margin from here to here. So if you want to set the margin from all four sides, it's a 10 dp general. Okay, let me just click it on the 20 dp and applied it. This is my 20 dp. If you want to see, this is all layout constraint is a 20 dp. Now if you want to clear the constraint, then you need to click over here. This is infer. This is all about the pack. This is all about the alignment of this. So if you want to align like this, this, select both of them. Okay, and if you want to align the on the horizontally, vertically, okay, let me just keep it the horizontally it is connected with both the view components. Fine. When you talk about the guidelines, so this is my guideline. Let me take the vertical guidelines. Vertical guidelines is already on. Okay, so let me just take the guidelines first. Vertical guidelines from here to here. So this is my vertical guidelines. Let me just keep it to the, this is the whole screen is all about the 414 size. Let me just keep it on the 215 size. So this is my guideline. Now I can set my button which is in the center of this particular guideline. See this guideline, and let me click over here on this guideline. Instead of this, let me take this particular like 30 pixel size. Now click over here, set the guidelines over here. So now button is in between of these both guidelines. Again, let me take another vertical guidelines. Okay, and take it to the from here to here. Okay, let me just keep it like 4102381. And now set the constraint for the second from the these guidelines and from this to the particular these guidelines. So now this both button is particular in the center of the particular both guidelines. You can also take the horizontal guidelines, okay, and set a view component as per your thinking. let me just keep the particular switch with respect to this particular guidelines. Fine. So by using the guidelines, you can easily navigate, you can easily design on particular components and codes. If you want to remove, so what is this? This is a blueprint of the particular whole screen. You can enable or disable the blueprint from here. This is only a design view. This is a design and blueprint view. This is only the blueprint view. Okay. So this is my all design view, what we have designed right now. Fine. If you want to see the code, you can check it out from here. Okay, so this is like text view, this is a button, this is an image view. Okay, you just need to set the constraint for the image first. This is we can say the progress bar, this is a switch, students, and everything is there. Okay. So this is all about the constraint layout, students. You can just move your constraint from here to here. You can set the constraint for that. If you want to remove the constraint for the particular view image, see, set it over here. Then particular just take that, but click on the image and set it to the down in between of this. Now image is automatically set in between of the switch, progress bar, first view and the second view. When we talk about the progress bar, let's set the constraint for it. Here is the progress bar, and here again if you want to set the constraint with the image, then you can also do the same. See, no, I just want to keep it over here. Let me just keep it in between of this. Fine. So just like the students, you can easily set your progress bar and everything. So this is what, this is all about the constraint layout. It gives you the flexibility to set up your design and everything. So students, that's all about the constraint layout. What we have studied, that how we can use each and every view component of the constraint layout, like infer, the delete the constraint, like view components, like auto connect, the parent auto connect, enable the disable the auto connect, and everything, as well as the guidelines. Fine. Still, if you have any doubt in the constraint layout, then please feel free to ask me. Thank you so much.